All right, welcome everybody. This is the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley, and we are very happy that you have joined us for our program this week. It is always our intention to get interesting ideas and fascinating approaches to service and innovation and entrepreneurship and education in front of Rotarians and guests around the world. And we've got a wonderful speaker today who is one of our members. It's member Richard Knaags, who is in Cape Town, South Africa. And Richard and I became friends a couple of years ago when I visited Cape Town as a part of a program speaking down there. And I have been fascinated by his school and the different wonderful things that their students are doing. And he's going to tell us a little bit about the school today. A little bit about Richard. Richard is the Director of Technology and Innovation at the school. He spent a number of years with IT companies before that. He graduated from the University of Cape Town in 1991, and he is just a phenomenally wonderful guy. So it is great to have him present to us. So, Richard, I hand it over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Rushton. Hi, good evening, everyone. Well, good evening from Cape Town. Good morning to you in the US. It's a real privilege to be able to speak to you guys today. And I've been asked to be part of Rotary, thanks to Rushton, and I look forward to contributing as much as I can to the meetings. So if we can go ahead with the presentation, that would be great. So let's do this. Okay, so how are we looking there, Rushton?
Looks good.
Okay, perfect. So, yeah, my name is Richard Knaags, and I'm the IT Director or Director of Technology and Innovation at Parklan's College. And I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about creating authentic learning experiences through experiential learning. There's some amazing things that we've done at our school that I'd like to share. And there's our staff complement, our educators. We have 120 educators, and they're all smiling and saying hi. We have our mission statements at the bottom, reaching outwards, growing minds, building futures, and below that's the various accreditations that we have at our school. So where did we start? Well, my mother opened up a pre-primary in 1980 in Greenpoint in Cape Town, and called a Christopher Robin Pre-Primary, and that sits on the slopes of Signal Hill, just in the shadow of Table Mountain. And if you look at the bottom of the slide, you can see the beautiful view of Table Mountain, but that is not of this campus. It's a family business, and the executive directors are my mother, Lorraine Roth. She's a founding and managing director, Werner Roth, my stepfather, and myself. Okay, so we opened Parklan's College in 1998, and you can see our first assembly. We have a total of 20 learners on the left. That was our first assembly in the foyer. And then a picture of the total learners, including the pre-primary, which was a total of 50 in 1998. So it was a bit of a risk, but we've really grown in the past 16 and a half years. And just to give you an overview of our school, we're pre-K to 12, private independent school. We started 18 months old, and we have 3 campuses and 4 faculties, 1,250 learners and 220 staff in total, so it's really grown. We focus on academics, sport, culture, and service, and we have a one-to-one device program, and I believe that part of the success of our school has been that we live in beta, and this is something I picked up from Molly Schroeder when she was speaking at the 2013 Google Summit. We are a very flexible school, and we can adapt quite easily to any changes within the organization. Oh, that's a duplicate slide. Okay, so just to quickly show you the faculties, we have the pre-primary faculty, and you can see the Cape Dutch style. And hello from all the learners. 2014, we have 218 learners, and they're in the amphitheater. That's our junior preparatory campus, and on the left, just outside of the picture, is the pre-primary campus. So the pre-primary and the junior preparatory sit right next to each other. And that is the junior preparatory from the back of the school. And all of our junior preparatory learners saying hello. There's 385 of them. Our senior preparatory, that's across the road. Now, this was our second build, so we've been privileged to be able to build 3 buildings while we've been developing Parklan's College. This was our second build. It was originally the high school, and we have a lot of facilities here that are high school facilities that are available to our year 4, 5, and 6s. So there's science labs, IT labs, music and dance venues as well. So they're very privileged to have access to those facilities. And hello from the senior preparatories. There's 200 senior preparatory learners. There are 214 of them. Just to give you a quick overview of how the faculties are oriented, there's a Google Maps aerial view. You'll see on the left is the pre-primary with the little yellow arrow, then the junior preparatory and the senior preparatory. So as I was saying, we had the privilege of building 3 schools. You'll see the circle in the top right. That's where the current junior preparatory and pre-primary are. And this is the new campus, Sandown campus. I had to put this picture in so you could see the beautiful Table Mountain in the background. You'll also see the slide is also taken from the fields of Sandown, looking at Table Mountain. So that's looking at the buildings. And there it is. It opened in 2012. We are very excited about this campus, and I'll tell you a little bit why. I'll tell you why just now. So that's our admin block. That's the entrance. That is Edison. That's Edison Hall, and that is Science and Technology. That is Fleming Hall, and that is Arts and Culture. And we also have a gym that we installed there, and those are our multimedia studios, which I'll tell you about just now. The Newton Hall, which is hospitality and languages, our Curie Center, which is a hall that seats 800, Music Wing, which is Mozart Center, and then our sports pavilion. That's another view of the school, and the entrance to Sandown. And of course the learners, 521 of them saying hello. Okay, so what's very important for me to tell you is, obviously there's a lot of text on the slide, and I try to avoid that, but what is key here is that we are a school that has always believed that information technology has a very important place in education. So you'll see in the second paragraph there, Parklan's College is a progressive place of teaching and learning, having fully embraced e-learning and all related facets. So this is a common thread from our vision through to our mission, through to our core values. And it is something that we believe in. We started our Apple One-to-One program in January 2009, and we began with staff training. We launched MacBooks into the classroom in 2010. We launched iPad into the classroom in 2012, and we launched Google Apps for Education in 2011. We achieved a full one-to-one status in April 2013, and that meant that every single child in our school and every teacher had access to a digital device for learning. Okay, we have a very successful project, and it has led to the most amazing innovation in teaching and learning in the classroom. This specifically focuses around project-based learning, and for the reason that projects can cross over multiple subjects, and the integration of the device works really, really well in that kind of environment. We have e-days where learners don't come to school, they actually learn from home on their devices and then submit their work via Google Classroom. And of course, because of the success of our project, we host many outside school visits, and you'll see some visitors on the right there talking to our learners. 7 key principles that I thought I'd just stick in here that we tell all people or all schools or anybody who's interested in our program: get the infrastructure right, provide the devices to teachers early with outstanding professional development, get top management buy-in, guide and support the learners, involve the parents, ensure that you have good technical support and learn devices, and make sure you have good relationships with experienced suppliers and consultants. And we've had the privilege of having Rushton speak twice at our school, and he really is a truly inspiring speaker. So just if you would like to see some examples of the kind of work that's happening in our classrooms, I've listed some YouTube links there. Learners who are 8 years old creating documentaries on environmental awareness, digital bullying. We also had the pleasure of one of our animations winning the Next Vista competition. It was the 2013 Video of the Year, so we were quite privileged for that to happen. And of course, history, a Pyramid of Giza. As you'll see 3 learners there. They actually replicated the Pyramid of Giza using Minecraft, and then they could walk around inside their pyramid. A really engaging and fun way to explore the Pyramid of Giza. Okay, so basically this is what the presentation is about. It's experiential learning, and it's a process of learning through experience. And what we've had and what we have the privilege of doing is introducing courses and subjects that are not part of the South African curriculum. And I believe this is something that technology has enabled us to do. And what we've been able to do then is to link these subjects and courses to real-life relevant experiences and projects. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the things that we've introduced into the school. Robotics. What an amazing way to learn programming. We have, you can see the kids, they love it. You can see all these smiling faces. They learn mechanics. They learn creative problem solving. And at the same time, they're learning how to program this thing that they've built to solve problems. A really, really wonderful skill, I believe a higher order thinking skill, and something that we believe that our learners need to know for the 21st century. On the right, you'll see pictures of some of our learners who've created games in hopscotch. And what a wonderful way to learn programming as well, through creating games, and a fantastic way to bring ladies into the ICT industry. So how we've linked this to real-world application is our learners take part in the World Robotics Olympiad, and they compete against other teams all over the world on challenges that have been set by various organizations, and really incredible collaboration experiences they have. The hopscotch programming, what our learners do is they put their games onto their website, onto the hopscotch website, and other children play their games and give them feedback. So really another fantastic way of programming and learning how to program. Now, with obviously the introduction of our one-to-one program, we have been able to restructure our ICT training in our school completely. We don't teach things like word processing, spreadsheeting, presentation skills within IT anymore. That happens naturally in the classroom. They have their devices, it's integrated, and that's the way it happens in the real world. We teach things that they're interested in. We teach them design. We teach them things like Adobe. We teach them things like web design. We teach them things like video editing. So you can see 3 of our learners there who've achieved their Adobe Certified Associate status. It's an international certification. And then they took part in the national Adobe competition. So once again, what we're doing is we're also tying these kind of skills into, well, to international certifications as well. So they're also relevant and very useful. A film studio. So what we've done in Parklan Sandown is we've built a media studio, and the media studio has become the most amazing creative space. This place is a hive of activity. Here what we do is we teach learners skills like interviewing, video editing, presentation, and you'll see on the right, you'll see 2 of our learners who are part of a team called Flash Mob, which is our film team. What they do is they go around the school, and there's a whole group of them, and they interview learners and teachers about various events at the school, and then they create a news snippet which is released on the YouTube channel College Avenue. And it's just quite amazing to see how that's progressed. So if you have the opportunity, go and have a look at the work that they're doing there. And it's a big shout out to Chris, Chris Cochrane, who's got involved in this, and our learners are very excited to be working with him. So this is one of the benefits of being on the Rotary, the Silicon Valley Rotary Group. Okay, our sound studio, also another amazing place. We teach sound engineers how to engineer and master music, but it's become a place where our music learners, songwriters, drama students, film, all collaborate together to create the most amazing work. And if you go onto YouTube and you have a look at Parklan's College Studios, you will see 2 music videos that our learners have released, and they have created these videos themselves completely. We facilitated it, and the work is absolutely amazing. If you can allow learners to find their passions and to work towards them with real-world relevant projects, they just create the most amazing things. And I'm sure if you go to this channel, you'll agree with me completely. Our sound engineers also assist with the running of events in our Curie Hall. We have an 800-seater hall, and the left picture is of the sound, little sound area, and the hall is on the right. Another amazing thing that our sound engineering students have done is they've released an album on iTunes called Origin. And there are 11 tracks on this, and they are absolutely stunning. To think that learners have learned from us how to put music together, compose it, and 8 of these tracks are original tracks, to release it on the iTunes store and hopefully make a little bit of money out of these tracks. You'll see pictures of the learners in the newspaper article on the right. And what we're doing as well is we're running a project called Project Soundreach. And what Soundreach is about outreach to schools that are underprivileged, and finding talents and bringing them into our studios and recording them and putting them onto our albums. And hopefully they'll make a name for themselves. We are doing a choir recording of an underprivileged school in Quinquezi in the next month. So we're very excited about this collaboration. Animation. Another very important skill, I believe, for learners. Very creative, a 21st century skill that should be developed in learners. It's obviously related to film, and I'm sure you've all seen the video in the meeting of the 29th. And to think that a 14-year-old has created that movie, it's absolutely astounding. Okay, what happened to the animation there? 1 second. Why isn't that animation playing? Okay, there we go. So this is Matteo. He's also one of our animation learners, and he created this lady in Mudbox, and then he 3D printed her. So we also have 3D printers at the school, and what a wonderful way for learners to be able to visualize what they've, well, to actually touch what they've created. Okay, we have started a mobile application development incubator in our school. So we teach kids how to write apps for the App Store. And on the right you will see we have an app that has already been developed. It's probably going to be released in the App Store in the next three weeks. It's an app that teaches you how to speak Afrikaans, and then you've got the farm. You'll see the top right picture, there's a farm, or there's the city, and if you click on the farm or tap on the farm, you'll get the animals, and if you go to the city you'll be able to see their produce, and it'll tell you their produce in Afrikaans. So milk is milk, and koi is cow. So it's really quite amazing that they're developing this. And what we want them to do is we want them to work with our teachers to develop relevant apps for the classroom. Now, as part of this program, you'll see Jack on the left. He's an amazing teacher. He's has a PhD in computer science, and he's involved in a project called Project Program. And we're also reaching out to Nkwezi to find students who have the potential to be programmers and can come into our environments and learn how to program. So we're very excited about starting that. And we're actually starting that straight after these exams. We're looking at potential students' results, and we start that next quarter. So that's probably in about 3 weeks' time. Engineering, graphics, and design. Okay, so this is an official subject offered by the government in South Africa, but we've extended it. We have added technology, so you'll see in the picture on the right, we have IMAX, and we teach AutoCAD, and we are aligning this training with international AutoCAD certification. So our kids don't only have the subject, but they have the international AutoCAD certification. What we also want to do at the school is we want to gamify learning, and we created an app with Mr. Pele. You'll see him on the left. He's holding the app. We found that there's a huge problem when it comes to visualizing 3D objects and putting them onto 2D planes, or vice versa. In other words, looking at a plan of a building and then being able to visualize how it's going to look in 3D. So we've built an app called ISO to Ortho, and it teaches the basic skills on how to visualize 3D objects in 2D planes. And we added a little game to that app as well. So it's a fun way of learning it. And of course, what we want to happen in this space is we want learners to be innovators and inventors, so they have access to a 3D printer, and they can rapid prototype various designs, nuts and bolts, and various other things that they may design in this venue. So once again, practical application of what they're learning. We also have another project, Habitat for Humanity, which is a community project, and you'll see the Lego house in the bottom right that was built by the Engineering Graphics Design Department. And what you get to do is you sponsor a brick, and we have to raise 50,000 rand to build a house for the poor people for poor people, and then what you go and do is once you've raised the money, you go and build the house. So a lot of engineering, graphics, and design students went and built the house to see what it's like to actually build a house, not only design it. A wonderful experience and a wonderful community project that we're involved in as well. And of course, hospitality. This is also a government subject, but we've extended it. On the left, you'll see our kitchen, and what we want our students to do is to design and create their own recipes and then to film them and to put them onto YouTube chefing channels, so they can maybe make a name for themselves on YouTube and on the internet. You'll see the top right picture. It's getting a little bit hot in the kitchen there, and the bottom right we have our own herb and vegetable garden, so they grow their own produce and use it for various events. And the events are run in an attached restaurant. We have a restaurant that is attached to that kitchen called the Connoisseur Kitchen, and we have front of house silver service, and we also have a City and Guilds food preparation certifications, international certification, and every month we have an event there where the children, the learners cook and serve us, and then we get to crit them at the end of the meal. You can see the meal, the bottom right. This was really a stunning meal that I had just a few weeks ago, and it was a part of a grade 11 prac exam. So once again, experiential learning taking place, and within a restaurant environment. So I think I may be over time, but that's about it in a nutshell. Proudly South African, proudly Parklan's College. It's a quote by a parent, and if you'd like to watch our video, you're more than welcome to watch it in the following YouTube link. Okay, so that's it.
Richard, man, that fantastic. The opportunity to really see so many different pieces of a school, the incredible opportunities that your students have to explore all kinds of different things. I mean, that's amazing. Wonderful, wonderful to get that in front of us. Now, earlier, by the way, I didn't introduce the others who are on the recording, and we have actually 3 members near Lake Tahoe at the moment, I believe, who I want to first. Let's see. Let me kind of do this real quick so everybody can see that. There we go. We've got on the right, as I'm looking at the picture, Yvonne. So Yvonne can wave. Remember Yvonne, who's done a tidbit for the team and has done all kinds of great volunteer work. We have Andrew Tao, who has the distinction, I think, of being the only person who, in the discuss comments, left a poem. Andrew, you're still getting style points from me on that. That was awesome. And then on the left, as I look at it, is Mitty, our webmaster.
Hey, Mitty.
And
also the website.
Yeah, and our candidate for president-elect. So all of our members, if you've received a note recently saying vote, make sure to vote because we have to go through our processes properly, all that kind of thing. I know you guys are finishing up and soon to leave, so if you have any questions to start with, I'll let you do that before I launch into whatever percentage of mine I can do, because Richard, I could just ask and ask and ask about that.
Great. Yep.
I think we each have questions, but Richard, we wanted to start off, I think, with asking you, is this a private school or is it a public school? I know that you guys are privately owned, but how do you guys get your students is what we're wondering.
Yeah, we are a private school. So yeah, basically just through normal advertising, marketing, we obviously target the more privileged learners and parents, but we also have a huge outreach. We have about 2 million rands worth of scholarships that we give out every year to learners who can't afford it and would, obviously it's based on academic merit though, and then they can apply to come into the school.
Thanks.
Great.
So after just being amazed by all the different facilities and programs you guys have, I actually kind of personally latched on to this one little. It was one of your 7 tenets, which was parent involvement. What kind of
Yes.
programs do you have in place that encourage that?
Okay. Well, our one-to-one program is basically what happens is our parents supply and purchase the devices for the children. So we have to make sure that they agree with what we're doing. But the program itself is pretty much sold itself, because what we do is we invite them to come to the school to sit in class and attend lessons, and they get to their children actually get to show them how they use the technology in school. And the comment is always, when can I come back to school? So that is part of what we do. We invite the parents to come and take part in lessons in our school. And there is a picture that I had there where the parent is sitting with her child, and the child is showing her how he's creating a movie at school. I can quickly, I can't jump to that, but you can look at it in the video, and astounded and so happy. So yeah, that's what we do.
Very cool.
Cool. So Richard, there's a lot of awesome things going on at your school, and there's so much that I'm very, very impressed with. You mentioned that you also focus on the aspect of service with your students, and I know you mentioned the engineering students will go and actually build a house for Habitat for Humanity. Do any other students do any kind of community service for what they're studying as well?
Yes, we are involved with Rotary, Bloberg, and there are various projects that we're involved in: Santa's Shoebox, the sandwiches, raising money for the underprivileged in the Dunoon community. So it is something that it's actually one of the core values that we have in our school as well, is that learners need to dedicate, well, they don't have to, but a lot of our learners do. They're very aware of the community, and and it's something we build into them.
That's great.
If that makes sense.
It does, and I love seeing that Habitat for Humanity is part of it. I think you said that they had to raise 50,000 rands for a house. It's about $4,000 US, you know. So I mean, that's, you know, it kind of speaks to the you know, to how complicated it may not be to try to get legitimate housing to people. So it's great that your kids are involved with that. You also talked about the video work. I mean, through my nonprofit, you know, we've seen incredible stuff that your students have put together, including that breathing system video. We'll get a link to that below the program so people can see that as well. I'm also thinking that we should get the YouTube channel link, by the way. And while you were talking, and you mentioned the iTunes, I went and I did a search for Parklan's College in the iTunes store in iTunes. And in addition to the different things you were talking about, the apps and all, I see that there are courses. So, for example, role of media in a democracy. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so what we're doing as well is we are developing course content that's available for free to the world. So if that's specifically related to our grade 12 life orientation syllabus, which is exactly the title, as you said, the roles of, sorry, I can't remember the title, but it's part of a program that we want to make learning freely available to, and courses freely available to the South African community. We believe we're leaders in what we're doing, and it's part of an outreach as well. So we have all these wonderful facilities, and we would like to extend those to any other school that may be interested in using them.
Wonderful. You know, being where you guys are, I mean, I think of sub-Saharan Africa as a really dynamic part of the world, right? You know, where people are making a lot of really interesting things happen. We had that wonderful presentation that you were involved with, you know, not too far back, and Kasisi, you know, Godfrey and Peggy that, you know, are working on some programs there, and you know, if you do image searches of these places like Kasisi, like Cape Town, you know, you say, oh my goodness, you know, there's so much happening. So what would you say is the students' outlook on being there? So, you know, when they think about being in South Africa, how do they see that within the context of being part of the larger world?
I think they're very positive about the country. and I believe that they also have a real understanding of the fact that there are a lot of people in need in this country, and throughout Africa. So yeah, I think they're confident, confident students who are aware of what's going on in the world, and students who want to help other students. And I believe they're very, yeah, it's a very positive. I think they're very positive about the outcome of the country.
You know, I mean, when you showed the design elements, for example, the posters they had to do with Africa and all, it was just very cool.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about also the program we had a couple of weeks ago, as this airs, about the Tech Women program, and hopefully there might be students from Parklands or that you help through your outreach programs that might ultimately be part of that. You know, that chance to be inspired and connected with other women involved in technology across Africa, the Middle East, and Central Asia. So very cool stuff.
Oh, that'd be great if you could introduce us to that.
Yeah. So we're working with them on how we're going to connect with them over the coming weeks, and so we can do that. And okay. Awesome indeed. Any last thoughts for us as we wind this one down?
No, it's just it's really been a wonderful opportunity to speak to you guys and tell you what's happening in our school, and really it's about helping our learners find their passions when they're really young, and spending the rest of their education focused on that passion. So that's what we want to do.
Wonderful. We'll also get a link to the promotional video that your team put together just recently, so that people can see that as well. I believe that every school should focus on finding and developing strengths that it can use to explain why people would want to go there, right? Why families would want to be there. And I love that you guys bring your parents in to sit with the children as they're learning, so that they're not imposing their own sense of education from 20, 30 years before or something on what the students are experiencing. That's fantastic.
Great. Thank you.
Wonderful. And Andrew and Yvonne and Mitty, thank you guys for joining in as well. For everyone who has taken in the program, we appreciate your being a part of our meetings. You are always welcome back. We ask that you do two things before you finish, and that is, first, to do the I attended survey below. That lets us know that you were here and gives us the chance to send you a quick little thank you to all guests. By putting in your email, you're also getting an automated email that you can share with your secretary of your club, so as to cover makeup. And then finally, there's a discuss system at the bottom. You might need to log in using a standard login. Mitty, what are the other ways people can log in if they haven't created a Discuss account? I believe Facebook, Twitter, or something like that?
Yeah, so you can log in with your Google account. So if you have a Google account, or with your Facebook account. So both pretty easy ways to log in with.
Awesome. And leaving comments means that you're engaged in a discussion. You can imagine finishing a meeting where people get up and they say, this is what I thought of the meeting. This is what fascinated me about the different ideas that were shared. And that's what our Discuss system is. So please make all of you watching, make your way down and leave a comment. That's a great thing to do. We hope you've gotten off to a great start to the 2015-2016 Rotary year. We hope you will visit us often, and we hope that the people you know are getting the same kind of excitement about learning new things that the kids at Parklands are getting through all of the wonderful programs that Richard and his team are putting together. So with that, we'll finish up. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Great. Thank you. Cheers.